Well, if any of you watched any of the videos at all about trying to get our handicapped honey buddy back into the deer fields where he can get him a deer, we've encountered all kinds of problems naturally for a paralyzed person to go deer hunting. That's not the easiest thing it ever was, but anyway, we've been busy identifying one problem after another and then trying to come up with a solution for it. Well, I think we've come up with at least we all think we've come up with a pretty good solution for just about everything except actually pulling the trigger. That has been a little bit of a kind of a pain, if you don't know the truth about it, trying to figure that one out. But we've come up with several things, and some of them are rather elaborate and quite expensive. I mean, there's just a simple mechanism, or I won't say simple, but a mechanism to simply pull a trigger. I mean, some of them $800 or more. Very complicated and elaborate, but they work, of course, but or for some situations, but whether they're going to work for Gary, I don't know. But the simplest solution is often the best. So, you know, if you ask the Lord for guidance, if you ask Him for wisdom, if you ask Him for a little bit of knowledge, the Word said that He won't chew you out over that. But if you ask Him for wisdom, He'll give it to you. The Word also says that Christ is made unto us wisdom, righteousness, sanctification, and redemption. Under those four things, that covers everything we'll ever need. So trying to come up with a solution for Gary where he can pull that trigger. Something that'll work for him. I'm mulling that over in my mind, you know, and all of a sudden I got an idea. So I got up this morning and come in here and Gary, I've got one of his rifles here that needing cleaning. I mean, he hadn't been able to service them or anything for a long time, so I've brought a few of them home here and there and worked on them and cleaned them up a little bit and what have you. But he's got a Ruger #1 standard 7mm Remington mag here that he had been using a while, so I brought it home and I just cleaned it, you know, cleaned it and oiled it up and, you know, just trying to give it some maintenance. And I got the idea for how I might be able to pull that trigger. I mean, I had it much more complicated than this, but when I come in here and I go with the very first step to try to figure out how to pull the trigger with this thing that I had in mind, I go there and it worked so good, so simple. Well, I got to show it to you. So this very high-tech possible solution that I came up with is, you know what this is? It's a dowel rod. It's a 1-inch dowel rod. So, we'll show you what I did with it. Let me cock this thing so I can show you what I did. Now, I come in here this morning, and first thing I want to do, I just want to see if this, how well dowel rod would fit in this trigger guard. And it fit pretty good. And I was trying to figure out some kind of a way that I could attach something to pull this, you know, a little short piece of dowel rod or something to pull back against this trigger. Well, I stuck it in there. And then just for the dickens of it, I just kind of pulled back on it, and, you know, guess what happened? It went off. I thought, my goodness. So I cock it again and pull back and look how easy that is. Look how easy that is. I mean, it's extremely, just, it works. It works. I thought, okay. And got great control. The next thing I did, I got out here. I cock it, get it all cocked, trying to kind of simulate what Gary would have to do. He's got one of these Caldwell swing arm type shooting rest things, so you can swing it around in position. So I put a little simple gun rest up on top of my card here, and I just wiggle it around, and I get it where I can. I'm looking at target. You know, I got me a target picked out down there, and I'm going to put my crosshairs on that target. All right, I've got the crosshairs on the target. So the gun's resting in the vise, just like Gary would have it, resting in his shooting butt. I get the crosshairs on the target, and I get hold of my dowel rod here, and I ease back on it, and it goes off. It shoots. It does not disturb my aim. It doesn't disturb my aim at all. I'm on a target down there 250 yards away. And I just ease back on this. It stays on target. How about that? Not $800. Simple little dowel rod. I thought, okay, so that'll work. So how can I improve on that? So I got an idea, and I'm going and we don't know if it's going to be an improvement or not, but I'm going to work on it right here. I'm going to see if I can come up with a solution here that would be effective. It'll work and give a good feel of control on this thing. Remember, Gary's paralyzed. He don't have the best control. So we don't want it going off when it don't need to be or whatever. So, before I get to that, I'll show you what else I did. High tech. I mean, it's really a high tech deal here. I mean, I don't do anything half, you know. I mean, you gotta get high tech here. So what I did to hold my dowel rod, you know, instead of just laying it in here where it could fall out, what I did is I put a pretty good sized rubber band around my dowel rod. Then I run my dowel rod through my trigger guard. Then I take this dowel rod and I loop it over that side. Now it ain't gonna fall out. It's there. It's there. Now all I gotta do is shoot. Ruger #1's not the best gun you ever seen because you gotta cock it there. But anyway, I put it back in here. It's there. Now to shoot, all I gotta do is go back on this rod. So that's two things we got. It will work, and it will be able to hold in place. On to the next deal. So one of the first things I need to do here now is get me a hole drilled through my dowel rod. Alright, clean that hole out a little bit. clean the mess up out of the floor and wash the rough hand. Yeah, she's used to me. Anyway, now I got me a hole in there. So now what I'm going to do, just going to thread a piece of, kind of a bungee cord, I guess you could say, through that, through there. I'm just going to simply tie me a overhand knot in that, where it won't pull through my cord. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just see what I can do by pulling that cord with this string. Somebody trying to get a hold of me. What happens when I pull it with this stretchy cord? Aha! Very good. But that's with a lot of leverage out here. So what I want to do is figure out how long that rod needs to be to give me more control. Just keep shortening up. Like that. Might be a little too much. Leverage is what I'm trying to do, figure out how much leverage we're going to need here. Okay. Alright. I need to now cut this dowel rod. Shorten it up a little bit. Be right back. Yeah. Cock it again. Stick this in. Pull on it. What kind of control we got here? So now this high-tech apparatus I've got here is a piece of 1-inch dowel rod, short piece of bungee cord attached to it, to a ring. Now I'm going to cock the gun cock, put my rubber band over my dowel rod, stick the dowel rod through the trigger guard, hook the other side of your rubber band, loop it over the other side of your dowel rod. Now it just sat there, it's not going to fall out. And it's just sitting there. When you're ready to shoot, you just get a hold of this, put your finger in there, whatever, and you've got a little bit of feel here. You got some feel, you got some control. But you can back this out to whatever level you want. And you've got a lighter trigger pull. But you don't want it too light. You want to be able to maintain a sense of feel about it. So, pull on that. That's going to work. It's going to be shooting. Right?
Okay.
All right. Now your safety's off. Now put your finger in that. And pull back. Just keep looking at your target.
Do that again.
Huh? Now you don't have to put your finger in. You can get around it or any way you want.
Oh, that's better. Yeah.
Would you stay on your target?
That's what I was, yeah.
You didn't pull it off, right? You didn't pull off target?
No. It just shot, it surprised me. I wasn't ready for it.
Well, you should be ready because it gives you all kinds of feeler. You got to keep stretching back. It's not just going to go off by itself. You just start slowly pulling back.
Right there, I feel it. Yep. I felt it, right? Just before it went off. I felt it kind of tighten up.
Yeah. It gives you a feel for it. Don't pull fast and hard, just
Right there, I know it's going to go.
Are you actually seeing something down there, Amy?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Huh?
The fork and the limb down there.
Okay, let me move this just a hair where you can do that better before I aim at something. So you don't want to get behind your gun, you want to get sideways over here. You want to come at your gun at a 45-degree angle, not straight, honey.
Right
Please.
there.
Go around on the other side of your gun. You're straight behind your gun. Don't do that. Did you cock it again?
Yeah.
Hmm?
I think I did, didn't I?
No.
I thought I did. Stayed right on target.
Stays on, don't it?
Stayed right
Yeah.
on.
Well, Diane's able to work it. I think it's going to work.
It's cool. That's pretty cool.
But Diane said I need to stain it or something because it need to look like it's part of the rifle.
You paint it black.
Huh?
Paint it black.
Paint it black or something, don't I? And put a black cord in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see, now there's a bird.
So See, it gives you a feel for the trigger because you can pull it back till you start feeling resistance.
So you can do okay, like to here, I know I'm good, but when I get right here,
Just start feeling it tighten up.
it's like getting ready to go.
Starts to tighten up. Then it don't take a whole lot
There
more.
it goes. Yeah,
That's gonna work, ain't it?
yeah. Thank you, God, for that
Yeah.
ingenious piece of
Now-
knowledge.
Yeah, I didn't give him credit for that. He's the one come up with the idea, wasn't me.
You did good.
Yeah. That Diana allows us how the colored this contraption need to at least more closely match the color of the gun, so we're going to put a little bit of stain on this thing. I mean, after all, good grief, it's got to look sort of professional anyway. Can't look totally amateurish. We'll get it stained up here a little bit. We're even going to stain this white looking bungee cord a little bit. This thing's going to look professional. Now, boy, that's something. Looks pretty good. I've had that can of stain for years, touching up guns. All right. Let's stick it back in here and see what it's going to look like now. Put your rubber band on it. Put your rubber band on it. Make sure it's caught first. Slide it through your trigger guard. Hook your loop on the other side. And there it is. It actually looks a lot darker than it does in this view. Let's turn this thing around here a little bit. All right. We're ready to shoot. Pull back on our loop. We feel a little bit of resistance there. You're putting probably a couple of pounds on your trigger, maybe. You can make it lighter by pulling this out closer to the end. Turn that around. Close it, not correct. think I cocked it.
I didn't.
That made it real light. Didn't even pull it. All right. Pull it up. Take the slack out. You've got maybe 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. That's gonna work. That deserves a. So the adjustability of this thing is it's quite quite a bit. You can adjust, if you want to call it that, the trigger pull by how long this rod is. The shorter it is, the less leverage, and the more pressure it takes here. Pull back to set it off. Yep, be helpful had it cocked. Come on. Okay, so every how long you make this rod, the leverage out here multiplies, and it doesn't take hardly, you can adjust the amount of pressure that it takes here to set it off. That's quite a bit on this Remington 700. And the reason for that is the distance from your trigger to the front of your trigger guard right here. The greater this distance, the more angle that your rod goes before it really makes a good contact. So, to make this trigger much, much lighter, all you got to do is just put anything in there that shortens that distance. So now the trigger pull will be much, much lighter. You can put any object in there, take up that space that you want, or you can literally build up your trigger guard right here. So the tighter this space is, the tighter this space right here is between your rod and the front of your trigger guard, the less poundage it's going to take right here. So I've got quite a bit of space on this particular trigger guard. The way this thing is actually made, you've got quite a bit of space. So when I pull on that, it takes, I don't know, I would guess 3 or 4 pounds right here, right now, maybe 5. But by simply putting anything in this space, and right now I'm just sliding my reader glasses in there. It can be anything. Now when you pull on this, it takes precious little. So we're going to fool around with this thing till we get it where it's right. But I think that this little apparatus right here is going to work out great for a trigger pull, and it'll work on any rifle with just a little bit of modification. Mainly this distance right here, that distance right there is what's key. That's key. This space right here. So, from any gun, one gun to another, all we got to do is work on that. So, here later on this week, we'll get down at Gary's and we're going to get him out and get him on target, get him to shoot. I'm anxious to see this thing work. It's going to work. It's going to work. This is going to be a good system. Well, this original idea I come up with, which is a 1-inch dowel rod, on this Remington 700, the trigger guard's so big, the 1-inch dowel rod's a little bit small. So I've got a makeshift deal here that I come up with to take the space between the front of this rod and the front of my trigger guard. But right now, I'm also out here, I'm going to take this bigger rod and I'm going to cut it down. I'm going to rasp it down to a fit, where it actually going to fit that trigger guard. Just experiment. I'm going to well, I have whittled and whittled and whittled on the end of this dowel rod to where basically I've got a custom fit in that Remington 700 trigger guard. And put that gentleman in there. And it is one light trigger. I mean light. Now, the one that I have made up, that I've got the little extension on here, it just goes in the trigger guard. Very, very light. I mean super light. Put the safety on. Put this gentleman in there. Put the rubber band on him. Now we get ready to shoot. Beautiful. Plumb prettiful. Plumb pretty the way that works. Put a twist in that. Put a twist in that rubber band. Okay, I'm going to open the window here. Now this rifle rest, or not the rifle, the rifle is not zeroed with these loads at all. So I don't know where they're going to hit. But anyway, I'm just going to shoot something out there about rock out there, maybe 300 yards. Whether I hit it or not, I'm just wanting to live fire check this apparatus that I got here. I'm trying to get put together for Mr. Gary. All right. That one right there is pretty close to home. So I'm going to fire a shot. I'm going to fire a shot out there about 300 yards with this apparatus. All right. I am on target. So let's see what I hit it. I hit that blooming rock. Nearly 300 yards away. That's light. And I do mean light. Try this apparatus. One more time. All right. It's a bit odd shooting that way, but it's going to work. It'll work just fine. Got him. Okay. We know that works. Let's try it this way. Need some slack in it. Need quite a bit of slack. Come back on that darn finger. What you need is some real slack on it. So, put the safety on. Load her up here. Wiggle her around here. Get it on target. Needs to be up just a tiny little bit. Just a tiny little bit. Okay. Let's see how this is going to work. All right. Make sure we're off the trigger. I'm going to get on target right here. Got it. Okay. Last one. Now I'm going to fire this one just from the rod itself. That's safety on. Okay. I'm just going to pull on the rod itself this time. That'll work. That'll work. Oh, come here, boy. Done up there. Ah, my. I do believe that this little contraption right here is going to work. On this Remington 700, it works much, much better if you got a little spacer right there. Yep, you gotta, if you get that distance just about right. Oh, it works wonderful if you get that distance about right. Amazing. I think we got it worked out. I gotta get down there and let Gary practice this thing, so it's gonna work. I do believe it's gonna work, so we'll go down Saturday. We're gonna have a little fish fry and try to put this whole system together. See how well Gary can shoot that thing. So we're going to do that Saturday. See you Saturday.